Hello, welcome back to another video. It's a bit of a spur of the moment video, but I'm just packing up my bike for a bikepacking trip in Turkey. I'm flying out to Antalya tomorrow and flying home from Istanbul. So obviously it's going to be a one-way trip, and I thought I'd just show you the sort of process of traveling one way and also getting back again. I'll put that backwards so you can see me. So yeah, this is obviously my garage, bit of a bomb site, and basically I've got a bike box that I'm sort of packing my bike into. Now this bike box, I travelled to Germany in the summer, and I travelled back from Berlin airport, and I happened to pick up this box as I was basically gonna either buy a box or try and find one. And I moved up to the airport. I went to the shop where you can buy stuff. You can buy boxes in certain airports, and like packaging and oversized baggage and storage and things like that. So I was going to buy a box, and as I rolled up, this guy was unpacking his bike out of this, and he was starting a 2-month tour around Europe. He come from Iran actually, and yeah, I said, "Oh, hi, how are you doing? Can I have your box?" So he gave me the bike box, and then travelled home, and I've basically been saving it because I knew I'd be doing a trip like this soon. So yeah, reusing this box, and I'll either leave it at the airport and let someone else find it, or put it in the recycling. I mean, it's had a bit of a battering now. My daughter's been jumping on it and drawing on it, so yeah, it's kind of reusing the boxes as long as possible. So I'll show you what I've done to package the bike up and hopefully keep it secure for the journey to Antalya. So the first thing what I've done is I've actually kind of not reinforced, but I've got this little box here. It's just after Christmas, so we've got loads of boxes hanging around. Actually, one of my daughter's toys. It fits perfectly in the bottom, and I can rest my fork on that. So basically, it just gives a bit of impact protection. There's actually used wrapping paper in there. So I'm putting that in this bottom corner here, and I'll rest the fork on there. Not so necessary with this box, because on this particular bike I can leave the back wheel in, which is always preferable. But I also put something just underneath the chainring, again for the same reason, because chainrings are the first thing to cut through the bottom of a box, and the last thing you want is a hole in your box. And yeah, so I put that under the chainring, and also it stops the wheel moving around back and forth. There's a bit of rubbish in there, but to be honest, I don't really see the need to undo it all here. So now I'll show you what I've done on the bike itself. So as I said at the start, this is a bit of a spur on the moment video. So I'm almost sort of done packing. So yeah, I'm on my gravel bike, my Mason Grote Boca, which happens to fit in the box lengthways with the rear wheel in. Now, I always try and keep the rear wheel in there if I can, mainly because it gives you more cushioning, it protects the mech. You're not going to be bashing the chain rings on the bottom of the box. It's less to do when you're rebuilding the other side, and yeah, it's just all round better. Then what I've done is I've got one of the little plastic blocks. I save them. You know, if you get a new bike or a new set of brakes, disc brakes, you normally get a little plastic spacer that fits in there. I've put that in the front brake, and then I've removed the bars. And as you can see, I've put pipe lagging around the fork blades, and then I've kind of taken the bars off and kind of hooked them in so they run in parallel. And then I take a voile strap with me, and it's always useful to have these on a bikepacking trip. And you can then fix the bars around the fork and around the phone to stop it getting scratched. And it's all one solid unit. I also, when I take the bars off, I unplug all the Di2 cables from the command box, which I have under the stem here. I do that just because it's easy to plug them in again. It means they're not going to get pulled or twisted when the bars are like this. So yeah, it works out better. You just want to try and avoid as much damage as possible. The other thing I do, if you look at the chain set there, again, I've got pipe lag in, which I again save on the chainstay there, or the non-drive side chainstay. And then what I've done is I've just zip tied through the crank arm around the chainstay, just to keep the crank from moving. That then keeps the chain in place, because you don't want to drop the chain and then it will get twisted up and then pull the mech off, or the teeth of the chainring be kind of exposed. Because if you've got bikepacking bags in there as well, which I will have, you can cut them and damage them. So basically I try and keep everything as solid as possible, and obviously having the rear wheel in there really helps that. And sometimes you have to let the tyre down. With this particular box, I've just left the tyre up. I mean, the airlines sometimes tell you that you need to let the tyres down, but I mean, there's like 35 psi in there. It's not like 100 psi road tyre, so They don't generally ask, and if they do, I just let a token amount of air out. And then I put some pipe lagging on the stays just so they don't get scratched up. So yeah, so that's kind of the main bulk of it. I also, as I'm running the tail fin rack and mount it on the sort of extended through axle, obviously I need the axle in to keep the rear wheel in, and these tend to always stick out the boxes. So what I've done is I've had these sort of foam blocks that came in well, they were in this box actually when I used it last time. I've stuck a hole in the end and just taped a bit of cardboard on, and then I've made a pad which I can stick on there like this, and that will stop it sticking through the side of the box, because obviously when the side of the box comes through, the whole bike gets squashed a bit more, and you don't want to damage those ends because they're proprietary and I won't be able to replace them in Turkey. So yeah, that's all that stuff. So now what I'm going to do is just drop it in the box and sort of add the other stuff in. Now before I drop the bike in the box, I've got all my stuff packed. So basically I'm flying Pegasus, but it's similar on like Ryanair, EasyJet, all the kind of the cheaper airlines that you pay quite a bit more for a bike box, but you get like 25-30 kilos, but then you have to pay extra for your luggage, so there's no point paying for that. So basically everything's going in the box. So the bike packing bag, got my tail fin rack, it's got my bivvy stuff, like a rain jacket and stuff in there. I'll drop that in the bottom of the box, then the bike will fit over the top of it, and then I'll just carry a very small folding backpack. I think you get like just under the seat in front kind of luggage now, because they're cutting back, you know, the hidden costs. The price is the same, but you can take less luggage, same as everything else in life at the moment. You're paying the same and getting much less. So yeah, everything goes in the box. And I'll probably, you know, if I'm really overweight and stuff, I'll wear my jacket and I'll put loads of like heavy electronics like GoPros, power banks, all of that in my pockets for check-in, and just sneak it in that way. I've carried an extra like 2 kilos of stuff like bars and gels for races in coat pockets before, just wrap it around my waist. So yeah, all these little tricks. So as you can now see, it pretty much fits the whole length of the box. The rear wheel is touching the back, so it can't slide backwards. The fork is on the pads here, and what I'll probably do is put one of my bike packing bags just to stop it moving. And then it's all kind of, everything's tucked in, so I'll just make sure this lever's not going to scrape. And then I can start packing the other things in. The other thing I forgot to say is I've left the rear mech on. Sometimes I totally remove it, but in this instance I've basically put it into first gear, and that brings the mech all the way in and tucks it out of the way of danger. So hopefully it should survive. You know, I've got the pads on the ends of the axle as well, so that should help, and yeah, make life easy when I get there. But I do have a spare hanger, so if it does get battered in the box, which can happen, I can repair it. So yeah, that is the bike in the box. Now we just got to chuck everything else in and sort of fit it all in. So now the bike's in, tail fin bag is in the bottom there, and this is kind of how I organise for trips. This is my workshop, and as you can see, I pile all the crap on there and then kind of gradually kind of whittle the pile down. But you know, I'm still missing the front wheel and the saddle and some post, and obviously Di2, so the battery's in there, so these need to fit in there too. And then there's my front pack that I'll be carrying. Sometimes I would carry this as hand luggage, but as I said, it's there's not much leeway with weight on this one. I also had to remove the tail fin top tube bag just to get the box to fit in. So basically what I'm going to do is put the front wheel in, slide that down the side and protect it with cardboard, and then squeeze in the saddle and the bags, and make sure, basically use it to make sure the bike's not going to rattle around. For me, the key is making sure the bike is fixed, there's no things loose in the box, because if the box does get torn or get wet, I mean there's no transfers, but the weather's looking a bit wet at the moment in Turkey, so the box could sit outside for like 20 minutes in the rain. I've flown back actually with my old Boca from Mexico with a box that I just taped together out of old orange cartons. So basically I had to tie up the whole bike together and then just tape the cardboard around it just to protect it, and that was fine. So as long as the bike's solid and everything's fixed, there's not stuff rattling around the bottom of the box, you'll be all good. what I've done now is put the front wheel down the side of the bike. I mean, probably I should put it the other side with a mech to give it a bit more space, but I put the bars on this side. So yeah, in an ideal world, I should probably do it the other way around, just to give a bit more space between the mech and the side of the box. But I've not. What I've done is I've bent a bit of card, put it underneath, so it's kind of underneath the wheel, slotted it in, stuck another one over the top, and looped it over, and that gives an extra layer of cardboard between the side of the box in case anything sticks out, like the axle end caps, and then protects the bike as well. And as you can see, there's a bit of a gap here, so I can put in the front bag, and I can put in the saddle and anything else. Now I've just wrapped the saddle in bubble wrap. I've laid that right in the bottom of the box, so that's down here. I put it on the floor, lay it flat, or on the base of the box and lie it flat, because then it can't fall anywhere and sort of wedge in a spoke. Saddle packs on top. Again, try to keep it all compact in there. And then what I'll do is I'll put my saddle pack on the top, and then I'll make sure that it's taped really firmly, and that should be pretty much everything. So that's the bike pretty much packed. I've got my tape ready to tape it up. I'm not going to tape it until later when I'm 100% sure I've not forgotten anything, because there's nothing more irritating than taping everything up and then having to undo it again. But all that remains now for my it's basically like a handbag sized luggage I'm allowed. So what I've got is this Albion folding backpack. These are my clothes. Actually, these are my clothes I'm going to wear for the whole trip. So obviously I won't be wearing what I'm wearing now. So that'll be pretty much empty. There'll just be like a base layer and a couple of pairs of socks. So I'll chuck all that in here, and I'll put my helmet on my head, because nothing against wearing a hat. That's not oversized luggage, is it? Just to check in, and then I'll probably just hang it off my bag. And then I'll be wearing my jacket. That's my Albion down jacket to keep warm. And then I'll probably put a few things in my pockets. I have my GoPro, got my cables and electrics, so I always keep that stuff with me, and GPS. And then I'll just have one of my bottles, bidons. I'll fill that with water at the airport. Save a few quid. You don't need to use another plastic bottle. Probably bad enough as it is that I'm flying. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get there. I'm not taking any casual shoes for this trip, so I'll be wearing my cycling shoes. So they're out as well. So I'll be clip-clopping through the airport. And yeah, hopefully next stop, Antalya. Made it.